Alright guys, in the last video we created our add contact form and we made it so that we could add a contact to the store, alright, through an action. Now what we want to do is we want to make that data persist into Firebase. Alright, now to use Firebase we could just include the script in our index file, but I think a better way to do it would be to use npm and install it. Alright, so let's go to our command line and we're going to do a Control-C to stop this. Alright, and then what we're going to do is npm install Firebase, and we're going to add the save flag, and that's going to add it to our package.json file. Alright, and that should be the only module we need. Alright, so that should be all set. Now let's go ahead and run gulp. Okay, and what we're going to do now is inside of our save contact event right here, where we saved it to the store, we're going to go right under it and we want to save to API. Okay, so to do that we're going to call app API dot save contact, and we can pass in that same thing, action.contact. Alright, so what that's going to do, it's going to look in our API for a function called save contact. So let's go ahead and add that. Okay, so we'll go to utils and then appapi.js, and in here, let's see, the first thing we're going to want to do here is include Firebase. So we're going to go up at the top here and say Firebase equals require Firebase. Okay, and then in module exports we're going to have save contact function, and that's going to take in the contact. Alright, now what we're going to do is set this dot Firebase ref to new Firebase, and then what you want to do is you want to put in the URL of your Firebase. Alright, you can get that right here. Okay, that's mine, yours will be different. Okay, so let's pass that in. Now you're also going to want to add on to the end of this the name of your collection, okay, which in this case will be contacts. Alright, and then underneath that we're going to simply push the contacts to the collection. So we're going to say excuse me, this Firebase ref dot push, and then we want to pass in contact. Alright, so we should now be able to add a contact to our store and have it persist onto Firebase. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll add John Doe. Alright, so let's hit submit, and if we go to Firebase, and there it is. You see, with Firebase we don't even have to reload this interface, it just automatically shows up. So in contacts we have this ID that's generated by Firebase, and then we have inside of a contact object we have the email, name, and phone number. Alright, so if we go ahead and add another, we'll say Mike Smith, yahoo.com, it doesn't matter. Whoops, that's the phone number. Okay, submit, and if we go over here you can see now Mike Smith has been added. Alright, so we can now add persistent data to our application. So now what we want to work on is being able to see our contacts in the application, because right now we're only seeing them down here after we create them, but not in the app. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to start with our API this time because we're fetching data from it. Alright, so after this save contact, we're going to create a new function called getContacts. Okay, so we're going to do this same thing. We need to instantiate a Firebase reference. Oops. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say this dot Firebase ref, and then we're going to call the dot once method. Okay, it's going to run this once, and we're going to pass in value, and all this code is on the Firebase documentation if you want to take a look at that to kind of really go through it. And then we're going to have this callback, and we're going to pass in a data snapshot. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to be getting back an object, but we want it as an array. Alright, so what we're going to do is loop through the object, map through it, and then create an array to send back to our store. Alright, so let's create a variable called contacts, and we'll set that to an empty array. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that snapshot, and we're going to call dot for each. Alright, and then in here we're going to have our function, and then let's pass a parameter of child snapshot. Okay, and then we're going to create an object. Alright, so let's say var contact, and this time we're actually going to include the ID. Okay, you can get the ID with child snapshot dot key. Alright, and then we'll get the name, child snapshot dot val, and we want the contact object, and then we want the name field. Okay, so we'll do that for phone and email as well. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take this contacts array and we're going to push this contact to it. Alright, so right under here we'll say contacts dot push contact, and then what we want to do is call an action called receive contacts, where it's going to receive all the contacts that we fetched. So let's add that. We're going to say app actions dot receive contacts, and we want to pass in that contacts array. Alright, so we'll save that, and now we're going to need to go to app actions and create that. So I'm going to just copy this save contact function. Okay, we're just going to change that to receive contacts, and we want to change the constant. And just add an S here and here. Okay, we'll save that. Now we'll go to our constants file and add that. Alright, so we can save that, close it up, and now we need to go to the appstore.js file, and I'm going to copy this case here. Okay, we'll change this. We'll say receiving contacts, and what we want to do is set the received contacts to the state. Alright, We don't need this API call. And then we're just going to change this. I'm going to change this to appstore.setContacts and pass in action.contacts. Alright, and then we can create that up here. Alright, and that's going to take in contacts, and then all we have to do is set underscore to contacts. Alright, and that should do it. That should get all of the stuff from Firebase and then put it in the contact state. Now, in order to do that, we have to call the API get contacts, and we're going to do that in the main.js file. Alright, so from here, we're going to say app api.getContacts. Alright, so let's save that, and then we'll reload. And let's see, contacts is not defined. Alright, so it looks like we have a little error here. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's in the store. Oh, I see, we have contact here. It should actually be contacts, plural. So let's go to the App Store, and where is it? Where is it? Oh no, it's in the actions. Yeah, right here. This should have an S. And there we go. So we can see here we have our two objects and we have our two contacts. Alright, so it's coming in. Now what we need to do is get it so they display under the contact form. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that in the next video.